Hi, I'm Bob Marks. I'm a sales trainer and coach, and I'm on a mission. I want to help people in sales, people just like you, shorten that path, the road we all have to go down that takes us from knowing to owning. So each week, we take a sales idea and we break it down using the MST selling system: mindset, strategy, and technique. This is the why we're going to do what we're doing, the how to do it, and specifically, what to do. Because the best ideas are the ones we actually use. So let me ask you, are you ready to do something different? Start getting that vital edge over your competition? Then let's go. This week, we're coaching to what I like to call the 4 words that kill your prospecting calls. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. A couple of weeks ago, I had a chance to speak with the owner of a midsize IT company. They have 15 salespeople on staff, and they specialize in a very specific piece of software for the accounting industry. Now, he's stressed out because even though what they sell, their piece of software, it costs less than the competition, it's easier to use, and it's more reliable, the leads that they're generating aren't converting into sales. See, this company, their sales strategy was to call on leads of people that have gone to their website and they've filled out a form. You've seen them, right? Name, phone number, email address, but they added something else. It was a box that said, would you like someone to call you? And people had to check that. Now, on the surface, these should have been no-brainer, right? Red hot leads. But unfortunately, that's not what was happening. See, as soon as the salespeople would get the lead, they'd pick up the phone, dial the number, and as soon as the prospect answered, they would say, Mr. Smith, it's Bob Marks over at XYZ Technologies. How are you today? And they would get shot down before they even had a chance to get started. They'd hear things like, hey, I'm in the middle of a meeting, call me back. And of course, they'd never answer again after that. Or they would say things like, we're good, or I didn't ask you to call. How is this happening? Now, this is interesting. There's 4 words that only salespeople use when they start a sales call. Here's what they are. How are you today? So when they were calling in, they were starting their conversation off sounding just like everybody else. Now, even though these individuals, they raised their hand, they said, please call me. As soon as they heard those 4 words, their minds automatically went into the habit or pattern that they have to get rid of salespeople. See, they may or may not have heard the company name, but they sure recognized, how are you today? And they slipped into that pattern, the habit of, here's what I do when I get a sales call. I got to get rid of the salesperson. Perception, at the end of the day, it really is reality. Unfortunately, the company with the best product is really no better off than the company with the worst product if everybody sounds exactly the same. So here's what we did. Coaching to the idea of, if you want something different, you have to do something different, that quote by Peter Drucker, we looked at a very specific branch of psychology, and it's called NLP. Now, here's what NLP teaches. It's something called a pattern interrupt, right? And here's exactly what it is. It's when we do or say something that interrupts those natural patterns that we can slip into. And we grab their attention, even if it's just for a second. So let's do some MST, because the best ideas are the ones we actually use. Here's the mindset. The mindset for this idea, this is the why. It's the reasons and the attitude that we're going to bring to what we do. When we start our calls off sounding just like everybody else, we inherit all the baggage that goes with every past experience that they have with sales calls. So here's the strategy. This is the how. How can we put this idea into our business? Let's start with a question. How do you start your sales calls? Are we inviting them to join into a conversation? Or are we simply jogging through a monologue, hoping to drop enough magic words to spark their interest? So here's the technique. This is the what. What can we do today, this week? Let's take a different approach. Let's interrupt their natural habits, the ones that they use to get rid of salespeople, and start doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So instead of saying, hi, it's Bob Marks at XYZ Technologies, how are you today? We replace that end with something they're not expecting. Here's what it could sound like. Hi, it's Bob Marks over at XYZ Technologies. You sound busy. Let me ask you, am I catching you at a bad time? Let your competition keep trying to jump into the reasons for their calls, right? Hoping to drop enough magic words and grab their attention. Start off sounding just like everybody else and slipping their prospects into their natural habits, the patterns that they use to avoid sales calls. You grab their attention in the very beginning by sounding different than everyone else and start getting the results that nobody else gets. I appreciate you making time to watch this week's video. If you'd like to start getting access to some of the stuff that nobody else gets, I'm really excited about this. I put together a free 30-minute webinar. Had a chance to do it a couple weeks ago on how to generate more good fit prospects for your business. If you'd like to take a look at it, here it is. Go to mstsellingsystem.com/prospecting. Here it is again. mstsellingsystem.com/prospecting. It's a free 30-minute webinar. It's jam-packed of ideas, stuff just like this that you're going to be able to take away and drop into your business so you can start selling more on purpose. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I look forward to talking to you next week. Good selling.